In this section, we are going to discuss about the MPLS VPN configuration. So let's start building our MPLS VPN. So let me brief you about the topology that we are going to use. So on the screen, you can see the topology that we will follow in this MPLS series. So we do have the ISP MPLS backbone. In that, the BGP number will be 500, and the IGP that we are running internally into the ISP core, that will be OSPF area 0. Here we have two PE devices, that is R1 here. Let me grab the pen quickly. So we have one PE device here. It is PE1, and R4 is PE2, provider edge router 2. So PE1 is connected to CE1. Uh, so we do have two customer. One is customer A, and customer A is having two sites. One is this one, and another one is this one. And similarly, we do have customer B, which is also connected to the same provider. So customer B is having one site here. It is site 1, and the another location is here on the right hand side. That is site 2. So provider edge 1 is connected to the customer edge router 1 of both customer A and B. Likewise, provider edge 2 router, which is connected to the CE2, both CE2 routers of customer A and customer B as well, right? So also we are using the route reflector here. You can see this is the route reflector that we are going to use into the MPLS backbone. So our PE devices or the provider edge devices will be having neighborship with the route reflector only. So all the devices in our MPLS backbone, they will be having peering with a route reflector only. So if you talk about the PE1 and PE2, which are connected to our customers, they will not be having the direct BGP neighborship. They will be having neighborship and via route reflector. And route reflector is the one who is going to distribute the routes among all the PE devices in our network. So let's start uh, doing the configuration. Let's start with the R1. R1 is PE1. Okay. And here we have R2. R2 is the route reflector. Else, let's start with the route reflector only. So router, we will say router BGP. And what is our AS number? Our AS number is 500, right? So router BGP 500. Now, what we will do is we will create one peer group. Neighbor, let's say peer group name is MPLS. We'll say it's a peer group, and into the peer group we'll say remote as will be 500 because we'll form the IBGP neighborship, right? And update source, that will be loopback 0. We'll form the neighborship via a loopback 0. And all the devices that will be having peering with the route reflector, that they will be the route reflector clients, right? Now router BGP 500, sorry, BGP 500 neighbor. So R2 is the route reflector, and its neighbor will be R1, R3, R9, and R4, right? So neighbor 1.1.1 peer group. So we'll apply this peer group to our BGP neighbor, right? What is the second device in our MPLS backbone? That is R3. So 3.3.3, 3.3.3 peer group, and we will apply this peer group to R3 as well. Next one is 4.4.4. Also we do have so R9 is left, so let's do the configuration for R9 as well. Neighbor 9.9.9.9. So now in the MPLS VPN will form the VPN v4 neighborship, right, between our devices. So what we need to do is onto the route reflector, router BGP 500, no BGP default IPv4 unicast. So we can also configure this command no BGP default IPv4 unicast, because between our devices, or between our PE devices, or you can say into the MPLS VPN, we are going to exchange only the VPN v4 routes. So we are not exchanging any normal IPv4 traffic between our devices. That's why we can configure this command. We are telling the BGP that we are not going to use any IPv4 unicast traffic over this network. Okay, so now what we need to do is we need to create the address family VPN v4, and here we need to activate our peers. So I will say neighbor 1.1.1 activate. So what exactly the meaning of this command is that when RR, or you can say when the route reflector is going to make the neighborship with 1.1.1, so into the open message, it is going to inform, or it is going to tell this particular neighbor that I am running VPN v4. Okay, so into the capabilities, it is going to exchange VPN v4 also into the open message, right? When while creating the neighborship, so we can activate, or we can set this particular thing for all the neighbors, right? So I'll say activate. So next neighbor is 4.4.4. Say activate, and the last one is 999. I'll say activate, right? So the route reflector configuration is done. Let's say show run section router PGP. So what we have done is, so under the BGP process, first of all, we have disabled the default IPv4 unicast, because our communication is going to happen for the VPN v4 routes only. So we created one peer group MPLS, so that we don't need to use a lot of commands. So to decrease the number of commands, we are using a peer group here. And into the peer group, what command we have we have set. So we have set the remote AS as 500, because we are going to use the IBGP. The neighborship that we are going to form is using our loopback, and then we have applied that particular peer group to all our neighbor, because these IPs that we are using loopbacks, so they are reachable via the global routing table. And into the global routing table, what we are running into the as an IGP, we are running the OSPF. Okay, so you can also test, for example, if route reflector is going to form the neighborship with 1.1, you can check if we do have the reachability. Yes, it has the reachability, right? And also under the address family VPN v4, because we are working on the MPLS VPN, so we are activating our neighbors under address family VPN v4. What does it mean? It means that while I'm going to form the peering with my neighbors, so into the open message, I'm going to alarm, or I'm going to inform my neighbors that I'm running the VPN v4. Okay, you can see here that the we did not give this command, the send community extended. It is by default enabled, right? So if you're if you already seen my previous video, then you must be aware about the route targets and all. So the information of the VPN v4 and all those route targets. So all the information will be carried out using the extended community. So in some platform, this command is not activated by default, so you need to manually give this command. Okay, so if you do not give this command, then your MPLS VPN is not going to work. So this is the mandatory command, because all your updates, your VPN v4 updates, that will be exchanged using the BGP extended community. Okay, so our route reflector configuration is finished. So now let's move back to let's start with PE1. So we are at PE1. I'll say router BGP 500, BGP default IPv4 unicast, right? Now we need to create the address family, and the address family will be VPN v4. We will say neighbor IP is 2.2.2, which is the route reflector loopback IP, and we will say remote. Okay, let me exit because our neighbor 2.2.2, that is into the global routing table, right? So we need to give the command outside of the VPN v4. So we'll say neighbor 2.2.2 remote AS is 500. What else? The update source will be loopback 0, and then under the address family VPN v4 we can activate our neighbor, so that we can exchange the VPN v4 routes, right? So neighbor 2.2.2, and we'll say activate. Let's wait. Now you can see the neighborship is up, right? And to check the VPN v4 neighborship, the command is, we cannot check like this, show IP BGP summary, because we are running the VPN v4 address family. So the command to check is show BGP VPN v4 unicast all summary. So now you can see our peering. So the PE1 peering with the route reflector is up now, right? Do show history, because this command will be same, because all the devices in our network, whether it is R3, R4 or R9, they will be having neighborship with route reflector, so the commands are going to be same. So I'm just copy pasting all these commands on rest of our backbone devices. So now let's go to R3 and paste it. Now let's go to R9, 7. This is customer router R9. Let's paste it here. Now we are left with R4 or PE2. That's it, and we are done, right? So let's check at the route reflector if all our neighborships are up. So I'm at R, the route reflector, and what is the command? Show BGP VPN v4 unicast all summary. So now you can see the route reflector neighborship with all the backbone routers is up now. 1.1.1.1. So router 1, this is router 3, router 4, and router 9, right? Router 1, router 3, 4, and 9. So the BGP configuration or the VPN v4 BGP configuration into the MPLS VPN is now completed. Now, if you talk about the routing protocol that we are running between the PE1 and CE1 for customer A, that is we are running this AS 6500 65500. So between the CE1 and PE1 for customer A, we are running BGP. So we can now let's move to R7, which is the customer A, which is the router of customer A, site 1, right? Customer as router 1. So here we are also running BGP, router BGP 65500. and neighbor. So the neighbor IP is, it's a 17 network, and the neighbor IP at R1. So the IP at R1 interface is 17.1.1.1. So we'll say neighbor 17.1.1.1. Remote AS will be 500, right? Now, so before we do the configuration for this particular customer A. So first of all, let's try to finish our configuration related to our VRF. So the VRF that we are running here is, we are running two VRFs. One VRF for customer A, that is the VRF name is customer A or cust A. So and the second VRF that we are using is customer B. So the interface which is connected to the customer from the PE devices. So here the fast Ethernet 0 by 0 of the PE router. So that will be into VRF customer A because it is connected to the customer A, and similarly the fast Ethernet 2 by 0 at the PE router, that will be into VRF customer B, right? And for customer VRF A, we are using the RD value 1:7 so that we can easily identify it because it is the link between R1 and R7. So we are using the RD value 1:7, and the export value for VRF customer A, we are using the 100:100. The import value we are using is 200:200. And at the PE1 for customer B, we are using the RD value 1:8. The RT route target export value we are using 300:300, and the import value we are using 400:400. And similarly, these are the VRF, RD value, and import export value that you can see on the screen right now. So now let's also configure these VRF and our export and import values. So now let's move to PE1. So now I'm at PE1. So I will create the VRF. So VRF name is customer A, right? The RD value that we are going to use for customer A is 1:7 here, right? So 1:7 address family IPv4. Now the second VRF that we are going to use is the customer B VRF, and the ID value that we are going to use is 1:8 right here, right? So 1:8 address family IPv4. Now let's put our interface into VR, or before moving to the interfaces, let's also create the import and export value. So VRF, for VRF customer A, we are using the route target export value, that is 100:100, and the import value is 200:200, right? So the export value for customer A VRF is 100:100, and the import value is 200:200. Now let's do the same for the VRF customer B. The route target export value is 300:300, 300:300, and the import value is 400:400, right? So the configuration at PE regarding the VRF is done. Now let's put our both interfaces which are connected to the customer into the VRF. So the interface fast Ethernet 0 by 0 is connected to the customer A, right? So show run interface fast Ethernet 0 by 0. It is already into VRF. You can see I already put it into VRF just to save time. So you can see the fast Ethernet 0 by 0 which is connected to customer A, it is into customer A VRF. Okay. Now let's also verify for fast Ethernet 2 by 0. So show run interface fast Ethernet 2 by 0. So here also the interface is already configured and it is into customer BVRF and IP is already configured. Let's also verify with this command show IP VRF interfaces. So both the interfaces are into VRF now and the line protocol is up. If you want to check the VRF configuration, so you can run this command show run section and then VRF. That is going to show you what configuration you have done regarding the VRFs. So you can see here we have two VRFs. One is customer AVRF. What is the RD value? What is the import export value you have configured for that? Similarly, you can verify the same for the customer BVRF. What RD value you have configured and what are the different export and import values, right? Now let's go to our PE2, which is R4. So now let's connect to our PE2. Okay, so the VRF here, VRF name is cust A, and the RD value that we are going to use is 4:5 address family IPv4. The second VRF that we are going to use is customer B VRF, and the RD value that we are going to use here at PE2 for customer B, that will be 4:6. So 4:6 address family IPv4. Let's also verify if the interfaces are already into VRF. Show IP VRF interfaces. Yes. So already for P2 also I have already configured the interfaces. So our interfaces are into VRF and the line protocol is up, right? But one more thing I again forgot. So let's also configure the import export value. So for customer AVRF, the import export value is 200:200 and 100:100. So route target export is 200:200 and the import value is 100:100. Okay, let's do this for customer BVRF also. The route target export value is 400:400, 400:400, and the import value is 300:300. Show running configuration section VRF. Let's find out, or let's cross verify that our VRF configuration is completed now. So we created the VRF, we put the RD value, the import export value, and similarly for we have created the customer BVRF, the RD value, import export values. Okay, show BGP VPN v4 unicast all summary. So now our neighborship is also up with the route reflector. Okay, so at CE1 we have already configured the BGP. So now let's also configure the BGP between R1 on the interface which is going to the customer that we already put into VRF. So let's also configure the BGP between R1 and R7. So let's go to PE1 router BGP 500, because my BGP neighbor or my customer is into the VRF, right? So my customer is reachable to me via the VRF interface. So we need to create the address family into VRF, right? We need to say address family IP for VRF and then the VRF name. Under this, we will configure everything regarding to the neighbor configuration. So our neighbor IP is 17.1.1.1 and the remote is that the customer is using, that is 65,500. Oh, sorry, the IP of the customer edge router, that is 17.1.1.7, because it is R7. Okay, now let's check, let's wait. Eventually the neighborship will be up. Show BGP VPN v4. Okay, we need to activate our neighbor roles. Okay, it's already up. So you can check show BGP VPN v4 unicast all summary. So now you can see our neighborship with the route reflector and our client, both neighborships are up now, right? So now let's also in this example, I'm not going to configure the customer B. So that I will do separately offline, just to save time, because I'm just completing the configuration related to customer A, because I just want to show you, or we are going to discuss in our next topic, that is the control plane traffic and the forwarding plane traffic into the MPLS VPN. We will understand how one subnet uh, starts its journey from the customer edge device, and it goes across this MPLS VPN cloud, and then it reaches to the remote site or to the other end. So we will discuss this in detail, because that is the most important part as far as the MPLS VPN is concerned. If you understand the control plane and the forwarding plane behavior of MPLS L3 VPN, then I think it will be very easy for you guys to catch rest of the topics. Okay, so let me quickly configure the BGP between R4 and the customer A, or R4 and R5. So I'll go to R4 or PE2. I'll say router BGP 500 address family IPv4, and my customer is into VRF. VRF, uh, VRF name is customer A. My neighbor IP is 45.5, 45.1.1.5 remote AS, and my neighbor is into a AS number 65500. Also, you can give this command activated. Now let's go to our customer, that is R5 router PGP. The PGP AS number is 6500 65500. Neighbor, the neighbor IP of PE1 interface is 45.4, 45.1.1.4 remote AS, and my neighbor is into AS 500, right? That's it. Let's wait. Show IP BGP summary. It will come up. You can see the neighborship is up now. So our MPLS VPN configuration is done, right? So what we have done so far, let me quickly brief you. So into the MPLS backbone, we are using the OSPF area 0 as an IGP. All the routers R1, R2, R3, R4, R9, they are having the loopback 0 configured, and and they are reachable. Their loopbacks are reachable via OSPF. Okay, because this is an ISP backbone. So in the ISP, they must be using the route reflector, because they do use a lot of devices, right? There will not be two or three devices, because this is just because of demonstration we are using only 3 4 devices. There will be a lot of devices into the backbone of the ISP, right? So normally we use the route reflectors into the ISP backbone. So in our scenario, R2 is the route reflector. So all the ISP backbone devices, be it R1, R9, R3, or R4, they are having they don't have the direct neighborship between each other. So they are having neighborship with the route reflector only. Okay, and between the PE1 and PE2, uh, the routes will be exchanged via the route reflector only, because PE1 and PE2 are not having direct neighborship. And at the customer A, we are running the AS number 65500 on both of the side. And the RD and export import value you can already see on the screen. Maybe you can take a screenshot of it, so that when we do the next topic, the control plane forwarding, so that you can follow it properly. So if you want to take a screenshot of it, you can take it. And see you in the next video, the MPLS control plane forwarding.